Howdy everyone, Runt9 here, and welcome back to Runt9 Plays Nova Drift. Last run was one of the most fun runs of Nova Drift I ever had, and I wanted to try more builds like that. I mean, granted, that was basically the dart spam build that I love running, but with split shot. But I want to find a way to do it with more stuff. Like, I'm actually legitimately curious if we can use Torrent in a burst fire type situation. Add a bunch of projectiles, you know, grab convergence, grab projectile velocity. Like, I swear that off the top of my head, that sounds like it's just gonna be terrible and we're going to fail miserably. But, like, I gotta try it, you know? And so I tried a little grenade version of this a moment ago and got about 60k in. The problem is I took 4 heavy calibers, and I was using the battery hull, which has very little thrust. And so the recoil was too much to handle. Plus I grabbed too many burst fire or double taps plus burst fire from the rate of fire tree, and battery already has a lower rate of fire. And so I ended up just absolutely getting clobbered. We're gonna re-roll that and re-roll that, and honestly, I'm looking for Firefly here, yeah, because I wanna pick up antimatter rounds, because I think that antimatter rounds could be a huge damage boost to Torrent. Now we're gonna want power reserves for sure, but I also think, like, what happens if you put charged shot on Torrent? Like, it's gotta be awful, right? But maybe it isn't. What if it's actually a lot of fun? That's what I thought about the split shot, is I'm like, this is gonna be a terrible build, but we're gonna have some fun with it. And lo and behold, it's actually not that bad. So give me charge shot, give me velocity, give me calibrate, and let's see what happens. Like, how big do these Torrent projectiles get? Honestly, they seem to get pretty decently sized. And I think the projectile velocity may be a little bit too much. But like, that damage seemed not bad. And if we added some burst fire into the mix, because this is what happens if you don't charge shot it. It actually ends up doing some decent damage like this as well. So I'm interested to see what happens when you add burst fire into the mix. I mean, I gotta click quickly right now to clear out waves, but we're gonna add burst fire and some double taps and kind of see what happens. I don't want ataraxia, like, it's not, no. I don't think that's gonna be useful. I am gonna want corrosion, but let's work on terminate and essence sap first. I want the burst fire though. Okay, splinter, absolutely. There's burst fire. So now we get to see, what does this look like? Okay, now give me like heavy calibers. I wanna, and see, already I'm like, but this actually doesn't seem that terrible. Because I can also still do this and click fairly rapidly, but then, like, all right, we got a baby jug. What sort of damage do we do? I mean, obviously it's kind of hard to tell because of the health bar not necessarily showing up. Okay, the health bar is showing up on this one. That really didn't seem like that bad a damage. And then, like, let's get the projectile spread down. Give me snipe. Actually, you know what? Give me corrosion next, because we've got a lot of projectiles that are hitting. So we need to get in closer to fire because of the fact that we do more damage when more shots hit, and more shots hit before they have a chance to perform the helical pattern more. The recoil would definitely be a concern, but this is where you add projectile targeting into the mix. So give me corrosion. I don't think we want purification on this one. This is a reroll. Honestly, even though I do think power reserves is probably a good idea, let's winnow all of this, get a bunch of rerolls, and banish a bunch of stuff from the pool so we have a better chance of getting what we need. Like, that is a one-shot on those little dudes, and that's not bad. That's not a bad thing at all. The damage output is difficult, but not bad. And that's because Torrent has such a high base damage per projectile that we're leveraging via split shot. Dodge the comets though, please. And I want to get some projectile targeting on this. I'm going to take Terminate for sure. There's Essence Sap. Essence Sap is obviously a big pickup for us. Splinter ends up putting in some good work when there's larger enemies on the screen. And I mean, again, I'm blown away by how cool this is as well. It's a very neat build. And honestly, the damage is not bad. Like, that damage was actually perfectly fine. Corrosion putting in great work for us there. And then we got a Big O, which we do have Terminate ready to go. And again, I'm thinking that projectile targeting is somewhere we want to go. And I am going to take Guidance, and depending upon how that goes, we'll see about Convergence. The damage is not small. We are one-shotting these interior vulnerable spots for the most part. Corrosion is putting in good work. I mean, that's a quick Big O kill, all things considered. I don't think we're going to go Warp Strike because I think we're going to end up with enough projectile velocity reduction that it's not going to be useful for us. But honestly, I'm already impressed by this as a slightly interesting meme build turned into something that isn't actually completely terrible. So basically, what do we want long term? I mean, we are going to want Obsession or Revelation, grab some double taps for more burst fire. I think I was just about to say, and Twin Strikes for the lowered projectile spread. Because now, when we're at range, look at what we got. Now our projectile velocity has gone down quite a bit. So we kind of have to push forward in order to get our projectiles in there. But look at it. They are heat-seeking missiles, basically. There's a baby jug, and let's see what we can do with this. So stand back, fire, let the projectiles seek their way in there. So this is where I'm like, yeah, I feel like Convergence would be probably a bad idea. I think we killed it before the comet. So that wasn't, you know, the comet depriving us of a damage check. We killed it. And so I would say damage check successful. Keep re-rolling. Actually, Snipe will help a lot with that velocity problem. And we charge up pretty quickly because of Torrent's high base rate of fire. And now I'm like, just get me some more double taps, dude. And obviously, like, the longer you wait on your calibrate, the better. That's definitely a big part of it, because that adds to the projectile velocity by quite a bit as well. So more projectiles would certainly be a better thing for us to have. Now, again, at the moment, I'm feeling just like I did during the split shot build, that this seems decent but not great. I think a large part of it is I just don't think there's enough projectiles for this to feel strong. And there's not enough burst fire to pierce enemies right now. But honestly, like, that damage is not bad. I'm having a lot of fun already, yet again, with this build. Give me Mastery. And then so Convergence, we lose size, we increase spread by a huge order of magnitude. But I don't know if that's going to be a problem. I think that the +2 projectiles with Torrent that has a high number of base projectiles is still bad. And I think the increased spread and decreased rate of fire and size hurts us too much. So I want to keep digging. Keep digging for something better. Keep chopping at it. I'm looking for some double taps, and I mean, obviously, like, an Obsession or a Revelation would be pretty huge. We are going to need Gemini Protocol. That's going to be a beneficial pickup. And the thing is, like, we can still spam if need be. Okay, I took a bunch of dumb damage there, trying to focus a little bit too much on getting the kills instead of just focusing on dodging like you should. But like, that's not bad at all, dude. And with guidance, the projectile targeting is on point. I mean, as it should be, obviously, but it gets where it needs to go, and it does a ton of damage. I want to add more twin strikes into the mix, but okay, here is one of the most perfect early damage checks, obviously. Damage doesn't seem too low. We need to actually hit the Scion itself. I do think we'll go ahead and pick up Gemini. It's too good of a pickup to not have. Now let's fire at range. Honestly, damage seems perfectly okay for a off-meta build. Something that isn't necessarily thought to be good. But like that right there, as long as we get a full send onto the Scion, it does a good bit of damage. It just is very easy for the Scion to block it, is really the main problem. So we want to stay right up in front, dodge this part, and then just keep trying to get in through its little shields, and then just dodge the laser, and just keep trying to get through the shields. Maybe even keep it kind of close. So here, just get in there. There we go. That's what you want to see. And like these full sends, look at that. I mean, it was 2 shots. It was only 2 shots. So there's a double tap. And I mean, we don't have obsession, but I'm still going to take these because honestly, the rate of fire is still perfectly okay. But the double taps are where we're going to get a big increase in damage. That was not a small amount of damage. Charge it up and just wait. There we go. That'll kill all 3 of those. I mean, it even killed a couple of those, I forget what they're called, but the shield thingies. You guys know the shield thingies, the purple things. The purple things. I still don't think we go volley here. Honestly, we should probably work on defense at some point and not go complete glass cannon meme build. Thank you, Comet. I will gladly take that kill. Rupture would certainly be a good idea. All right, let's see how the targeting does. I mean, not quite good enough. And also, you know, more burst fire would give us more piercing. I do think Rupture would be a nice pickup, as it usually is, all things considered. So it does kill a lot of those. Corrosion puts in work against the big waves of enemies like that. Projectile targeting, doing exactly what it does. Kill them, and then, I mean, obviously you want to try to focus down the Celestial if at all possible. And by that, I mean completely miss it entirely. Splinter's doing great stuff. There's another twin strike all day. Absolutely, we'll take that. It's a huge pickup. It decreases the spread. It gives us more projectiles. You'll love to see it. And you can, like, this damage output is a force to be reckoned with. And I am not against adding heavy caliber to this build. I know that it's spicy, but maybe it's not that spicy. I'm feeling this one. This is a lot of fun. I don't think I want Defiance without being able to get more than one. And at this point, I don't think we're going to take Obsession. I would still take a Revelation, but I don't think I want to deal with Obsession's negatives when we already have so many of the recursive wild mods we would want anyways. And like, if you just kind of let the projectiles go out there, find the cluster mines, and then just try to stay safe, which is difficult for me to do. As you guys know, I am not good at dodging the cluster mines. I don't like any of those. Although we should go blast radius, and like I said, I will take a revelation. We should go blast radius so we can pick up antimatter rounds, because we have a bunch of projectiles, and having each of them do more damage would be yet another increase to our DPS at this point. Okay, more cluster mines. I obviously hate that, so let's try to get as much essence sap healing going as possible. so that we don't die to cluster mines, because you guys also know that I hate cluster mines and I'm also very bad at dealing with them. So yet another, like, I know I say this about every boss every time, but it's a good damage check. Where are we at on damage with this build? And, you know, I think that we will be in an okay spot. Like I said, I think Blast Radius is a good pickup. And I'm going to keep just yeeting straight forward, preferably from a longer range because of snipe. And the targeting will get where we need to go. It also gives Calibrate and Charge Shot more of a chance to get to their full setup. So go ahead and kill the ad. And I mean, I'm not gonna say this build is good, but I am going to say this build is fun and yet again, better than expected. Is it basically the same thing we just did, but with a different weapon? Oh, absolutely. Does it play any differently? I mean, not really. I would say that's a firm not really. But I do think that it's still interesting in its own right because of the fun and enjoyment that Experimentation offers. So, I mean, I do think Rancor is a big pickup, but again, like, searching for that concentrated blast so we can get to antimatter rounds, I think is even more important. So again, I think Warp Strike is just kind of a bad pickup here. I'm not gonna go for it, but you know, anything we can do to keep adding double taps and some way to continue piercing enemies is gonna be just continually a good pickup for us. So here's a Spitfire. Can we one-shot a Spit? We can basically one-shot a Spitfire. That tells you all you need to know right there about whether or not the damage output is where it needs to be. Me a reroll on that one. Obviously, I love Rupture, but you know what I'm hunting for here. And it's a triple down on heavy caliber. You know, it's so tempting, and I've got to try it, even though I'm scared to death at how bad it is. Honestly, the recoil isn't really that bad, but the projectiles are huge enough that it definitely, like I said in the last one, basically counteracts the negative velocity. And the damage output is pretty ridiculously good. Yeah, you know, I was talking about having more piercing capabilities. There you go. There it is right there. Is now the shots are big enough that they can keep going through enemies as necessary. And honestly, like, I don't know why we're not having a bunch of recoil, but we're not having a bunch of recoil. I don't remember that being part of what Firefly does. So, like, let's double check that. Does Firefly have recoil reduction? Modifiers to thrust also affect thruster size, self-damage, crash damage. No, I legitimately don't know what it is. Let's not thrust. That's the only recoil we have. That seems a little odd, but I'll take it. Also, thank you for the comment. It's much appreciated. So we should be one-shotting both of them? Almost. Okay, we definitely still need to actually wait a little bit for Calibrate to be ready. Give me a reroll. I don't think we want another heavy caliber right this second. I think we probably want to pick up Rupture here. And then, yeah, go ahead and give me the plating. So again, we are still searching and hunting for antimatter rounds. So the targeting, though, with the lowered velocity is kind of incredible. So we've got a big Celestial here. And my man's is dead before he was able to start his primary phase. So from back here, from all the way downtown, kill, kill, and not kill. Well, we'll just do that, and oh, he's not dead. Okay, well, kill then. There we go. That's more like it. I'm loving this. I'm so glad we started doing this. And so maybe that's something we should keep doing, is just keep experimenting, keep finding cool new stuff that we enjoy. And I do think that Rancor is a good pickup here. You know, it's it's one of those that it's like, it's dangerous to try to use Rancor on purpose, but if you do have Rancor, it's going to be good for you. It's like eating your vegetables, you know? I don't actually know where I'm going with that, but you know, I'm sure there's a metaphor in there somewhere that I could pick out, but... All right, you do have to try to at least counteract the little bit of recoil, so your shots go forward. There we go. That's not a difficult kill. We are at Seraph already, and our full yeets are doing some serious damage. Again, we gotta do the typical thing, which is, you know, run circles, dodge the lances. We do have the power up right now. I mean, I know it's spicy. I'm gonna take the upgrade. We got antimatter rounds. We're in this now, boys. Now we've got antimatter rounds, extra 18 flat damage per shot. That was a big Rancor yeet as well. Now we gotta dodge the lances. We are low on HP. We gotta get some essence sapping, and then we gotta give some yeets. Come on. Oh, no. Dodge the lance. And then there it goes. There is an easy Seraph kill. I say easy, like we did kind of sort of almost die, but like from a speed perspective, he only got through one regular phase. And now with antimatter rounds, we go grab some self-damage resistance, pick up some solar hearts, and just kind of keep trucking along with what we got. All right, but like also actually dodge the shots that are on the screen. So I think what I've said before is going to continue to hold true, that if we make it past wave 100, it is YouTube worthy, just because the time investment required to keep re-recording, even if the run was bad, is a lot. But I mean, as long as we can keep healing back up with Essence Sap, I don't think we're going to die stupidly. If we die, it's going to be because we legitimately were just kind of overwhelmed. But that's the thing, is like, remember your ABCs and you'll be fine. So Force Armor is a good pickup. You love to see the whole damage resistance, but I'm actually going to go for a reroll. I don't think Outrage Module helps us here. We should go into Adaptive Armor. We're going to want Core Shielding. The damage output is pretty incredible. And the decreased velocity gets us where we need to go with the targeting. So, I mean, that's not bad, dude. I am loving this build. In fact, I might somehow love this more than the split shot build we just did. And that's saying something, considering how much I loved what that one was. But this is utilizing the high base damage of Torrent in a whole new way. A whole new world. I mean, that was a very clean jug kill. And yeah, I did just kind of let the recoil carry those projectiles in hopes that it would get kills, but there's not enough velocity for that to work. When you're gonna do a full send like that, you gotta be able to actually get in there. Oh crap. You gotta actually send it where it needs to go, though, is the thing. There we go. Okay. Little spiced. Definitely a little on the spiced side. I'm thinking, you know, grab the shield durability, get all of these asteroids out of the way, and then just dodge the singularity. Just give it a second. I gotta get some water, dude. And it's getting dark outside here. Let me fix the camera for you guys as well, because you're not watching this for my face, I know, but at the same time, doesn't the face add a lot? But let's get the gain cranked up, and let's get this white balance a little bit more blue, because my skin is not nearly that what Kelvin is that? Low Kelvin? No. Okay, we're good, but we did almost die there. So we need a good essence sap. That was a good essence sap. That's good eats. The damage is incredible. Now, that is when you actually are able to properly send it at an enemy. But like this, once they get through some enemies, the heat-seeking properties of the projectiles after the fact are surprisingly good. And we are sitting on some pretty decent hull strength right now, and shield is in an okay spot. And we don't have obsession, which is, you know, a big increase to our survivability from what I usually do, because most builds that I run, I'm offered obsession and I take it. We don't have that this time. We've only got 2 twin strikes as well, so our recovery is not, like, you know, completely in the toilet. And it certainly isn't smeared on the walls. Which, I mean, a lot of times you see these Firefly builds and we have a good bit less hull than what we've got right now. And shields for that matter. Oh god, the comet. We actually moved just slow enough to dodge that. Which, I mean, was unintentional, but I'll take it. So we've got an upgrade ready. And now we're getting to the point where, again, like, there's not going to be many upgrades left. I'm thinking that I don't want any of those. Defiance is something of interest, and the thing is, I think core shielding, because it opens up solar hearts as something good to pick up. I'm gonna say that that's still our ideal go-to now. And channeling helps with the armor stacks, which is damage reduction, even though it's not necessarily good for the regen since we use essence sap now. But I'm loving this, dude. This is fantastic. And, you know, I don't know that I can be very banter rich when we're doing experimentation, but I don't think my banter is necessarily at a very good level yet anyways. I gotta, you know, just keep practicing, and I'll get better, obviously. You know, you guys gotta remember, I've only been doing this 2 months. And I think I'm doing pretty well for having only done this 2 months. So we got another double tap, which is obviously like really, really good. So when he's like, charge up your shot as soon as the lance is done firing, and then dodge the lance, and then fire. It's just a pattern. It's just pattern matching. And then you just kind of keep dodging and you keep dodging. He's coming around that way. Don't go through the orbs that do a bunch of damages. Don't tank a lance to the face. You beat a Seraph earlier by dodging lances and doing damage. That's all you got to do. You dodge lances, you do damage, and the Seraph dies. That's all you got to do. But also dodge the charging attacks that he does. There's a good Rancor, and there is a dead Scion again. I mean, it's only like wave 125, but... So this is absolutely a build that should be another million plus, just full yeet build. We just gotta pilot it there, you know? We gotta be Captain James Tiberius Kirk of the Starship Enterprise, fire all of the phasers, set them to stun, set them to kill, and just make everything disappear. And I know I said set the phasers to stun and then set them to kill. You know, you gotta do both sometimes. Sometimes both methods are warranted. It depends on how evil the Klingons you're fighting are. Sometimes they're good Klingons and they actually join your crew. Don't worry, I don't actually speak Klingon. In fact, I don't think I've seen any Star Trek related content since I was like 10 years old. That's not to say that it's a bad thing if you have. It's just more of like, there's my level of remembering when it comes to Star Trek related stuff is not much. I remember some, but most of it is just pop culture references as opposed to the actual Star Trek stuff itself. So adding that next double tap into the mix has been pretty solid. You know, honestly, it's a little strange. I kind of wish we had more projectile spread. I am actually somewhat tempted to grab Convergence if we see it again. because I want the spread to allow for our projectile targeting to put in good work for us. All right, 1 second, because I'm fighting this guy kind of poorly right now. There we go. Was able to kill the ad and do a bunch of damage, and there's a kill. All right, try to go for the Celestial first. The Spitfires are a problem, but okay, maybe this build is actually good, dude. Maybe double taps plus Wild Strike plus Charge Shot is actually just good on almost every weapon. Like, find me a situation where that doesn't work. Now I just gotta experiment on every weapon. I know that like Blade it doesn't work on because Burst Fire doesn't actually fire more blades like it does with other weapons, as it shouldn't, because that would be ridiculously broken. But Twin Strikes work. And again, I'm pretty sure that it's Wild Strike, and I call them Twin Strikes. Honestly, like, don't be pedantic. That's you know, don't worry about it. I'll ban you if you're pedantic. Hint, I've never banned anyone, so, like, don't worry about it. But it's funnier if I say something like that. Okay, I would consider a Slipstream, but I think Core Shielding... Juggernaut is a good one. I think Heavy Caliber... I don't know. We could support another Heavy Caliber. And then another double tap. Okay. I mean, sure. Why not, right? And so basically, the velocity thing is really just... At this point, whichever direction we're moving is where our projectiles are going. So just make sure you're moving the direction you want to fire. The targeting, though, with as big as our projectiles are, is kind of like off the chain, though. And we were able to kill both of those with only a single charge. You love to see that, honestly. Like, you love to see it. And if you go too far forward, then the projectiles can't hit their targets nearly as well. But I am loving this damage output. I mean, the thing is, I don't see this being a wave 200 killer, not because we don't have the damage, but because it's so hard to get the projectiles into the Scion's shield radius to get it dead. And while we're trying to do that, we have to worry about not dying to Seraph Lances, which, as you saw the last time we fought Seraph the second time, is a little bit difficult because of Charge Shot. But from a pure damage standpoint, this build is absolutely on point. It gets the job done very easily. We just have to pilot it to success. Core shielding, you'll love to see it. This is where, yet again, I'm gonna say, give me solar hearts. All right, just dodge forehead. For those of you who don't know, I use the just blank forehead thing quite a lot. That is a meme from the website twitch.television. Basically, it's an emote that is used to display sarcastic obviousness. It's usually used when the streamer says something incredibly obvious. And in this, I use it mostly for like, well, just dodge forehead. Because it ends up being more of a, okay, well, what do I do in this situation? Well, just do insert easiest possible solution that is probably oversimplifying things grossly. Insert forehead emote here. And so that I use Twitch emotes in regular speak a little bit more than I probably should. You know, I've picked up using Pog a lot, quite a bit. That is referencing the Twitch emote PogChamp, which is used to convey excitement. And so you get things like poggers, I'm pogged up, I'm pogged out of my mind, my pog level is at an absolute maximum. And, you know, you can maybe even combine emotes and, you know, just get more pogged forehead. Those are all like valid options, and then you basically just become an absolute full Twitch nerd. Which, I mean, isn't that what we all strive to be in our day-to-day lives as Twitch nerds? So basically, I'm at the point, and this is why, you know, we're still in an experimental build here. I'm gonna grab Convergence. I think that this could be the end of this run because of the lowered size and the spread being plus 80%. But I want to see what it looks like and if it ends up being beneficial for us. Now, we are taking a bunch of damage here because of cluster mines being the absolute worst enemy in this game. Okay, one moment. So we didn't die due to Convergence there. I just kind of got overwhelmed by the cluster mines and never caught up. But I think that Convergence didn't really drop our damage that much, and it actually would have been something nice to pick up earlier on from an AoE perspective. But we still hit 913. This should still be like a number 6. Charge Torrent. That gets us into the 7th slot. Didn't quite hit 1,000,000. We didn't see Wave 200, but I still had a great time. And let's just fill up this entire top 10 with charge experiments. But that's going to do it for this episode. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your feedback, likes, dislikes, comments, all that good stuff. In addition, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this in the future. And be sure you check out the link tree in the description below. It has links to Twitch, Twitter, and Discord. You can hang out with the community. Come see the streams 5 days a week. We'd love to have you hang out. But until the next episode, I'm Runt9, and I will see each and every one of you later.